We searched their homes and their business addresses. We did find evidence of a lavish lifestyle. For example, Nikolova had £750,000 in cash.
Now redeveloping their houses, buying expensive clothes, watches, all these fast cars, and he started the investigation to find out where's all this money coming from.
Antonia Food was an unremarkable shop in North London. Outside, a humble display of fruit and vegetables greeted passers-by. Inside, the usual assortment of groceries, chocolates, and alcohol lined the shelves. Often behind the counter was a bottle-blonde Bulgarian, known to neighbors primarily for her striking eyebrows. But Galina Nikolova was no ordinary shop worker. She was the brilliant mind behind the UK's largest ever benefit fraud.
Joanna, I mean, this is a really shocking story. It's about 5 Bulgarian fraudsters who raked in £54 million of taxpayers' money from Britain's biggest ever benefit fraud.
When police stormed her property, they uncovered a staggering £750,000 in cash. To seize that much money in one day is unheard of, said Caroline Mongan, the benefits official who spearheaded the investigation into the gang. It was under a bed behind a fridge hidden in suitcases. I've worked on some big cases, but nowhere near the scale of this. At first glance, Sliven appears to be just another typical Eastern European city, unremarkable and quiet. Nestled at the foothills of the Balkan Mountains, it serves as the administrative and industrial heart of Sliven province. For years, its most notable claim to fame was its location in a region celebrated for its wine production. But recently, Sliven has gained a far more notorious reputation. The city is now infamous for its connection to a criminal gang that allegedly siphoned off as much as £200 million a year from the British government through an elaborate benefit fraud scheme. The audacious scam came to light thanks to a sharp-eyed local detective, Vasil Panayotov.
This is the biggest type of benefit fraud we've ever had before in Britain.
He grew suspicious when he noticed an unusual number of residents flaunting designer clothes and a sudden boom in new construction projects. I first became suspicious when I started to see the influx of money into Sliven, Panayotov explained. I wondered how these people had come into such wealth.
So exactly as you said, it was a Bulgarian investigator that realised there was an influx of money in his city, thinking people who are usually quite poor now redeveloping their houses, buying expensive clothes, watches, all these fast cars, and he started the investigation to find out where's all this money coming from.
His investigation uncovered a staggering revelation. Thousands of Sliven residents were receiving up to £2,500 a month in UK benefits, despite many of them never having set foot in the country. Panayotov's findings were transformative. The sudden surge of cash turned the city into a hub of new shops, casinos, and properties, drastically changing its landscape. Alerting the UK authorities, Panayotov's breakthrough led to the identification of 5 Bulgarian masterminds behind the colossal fraud. This small city, once only known for its wine, now stood at the center of a sprawling international crime saga. Nikolova's arrest marked the dramatic climax of a 2-year investigation into an organized crime gang by counter-fraud officials at the Department for Work and Pensions, DWP. In an exclusive interview with the BBC, DWP investigators and Crown Prosecution Service officials described this as the most intricate case they have ever tackled. The gang confessed to a staggering £53.9 million in fraudulent claims, and at Wood Green Crown Court on Thursday, 2 of its members received what are believed to be the longest sentences ever handed down for benefit fraud. Galina Nikolova, 39, was found responsible for £25 million in taxpayer losses and was sentenced to 8 years in prison. 4 other gang members received sentences ranging from 3 to 7 years. The fraud involved thousands of Bulgarians being transported to London, often flown in at the gang's expense, to make claims for universal credit. The gang used their IDs to initiate the claims, bolstering applications with fraudulent tenancy agreements, employment records, GP letters, and evidence of children. Investigators believe that while the initial benefit payments, or at least part of them, went to the claimants.
As we've seen, you can have the toughest computer system in the world and you can hack it. You can have the toughest security system and you can hack it. What's concerning to me is that, setting aside the £54 million, which has gone walkabout,
The recurring monthly payments were collected by the gang. They often withdrew the money in cash from hundreds of different bank accounts, creating a vast network of deception and theft. The identities of these bogus claimants remain a mystery, though some are believed to have returned to Bulgaria shortly after filing their claims. Prosecutors revealed that Galina Nikolova began her fraudulent universal credit claims in October 2016, before Brexit altered the rules for EU citizens claiming benefits. She operated alongside another Bulgarian, Gunesh Ali. Ali, who once described himself as a carpenter in a 2015 Companies House listing, later rebranded himself as an accounting expert. Social media videos promoting his company, Deluxe Advisors, showcased this new persona. In a 2020 video, Ali boasted plans to open offices in major English cities. Writing in Bulgarian, he offered assistance to anyone with settled or pre-settled status in the UK, inviting people to get in touch. By then, he was stealing millions from the British taxpayer. For reasons unknown, Ali and Nikolova parted ways in 2018. She then founded G Translations and Advice Limited in July 2018, taking with her one of Ali's employees, Patricia Paniva, and the fraudulent skills she had learned from Ali. Nikolova began operating from a back room in Antonia Food, escalating the scheme on a grand scale. Ali was clearly the ringleader, stated Ben Reed, a specialist prosecutor in the Crown Prosecution Service's Serious Economic, Organized and International Directorate. He essentially taught the gang how to operate, and then Nikolova branched into her own version. She took his original ideas and expanded on them. The fraud was eventually uncovered due to patterns in the applications. You'd have multiple claims going through one address, which is just not logical for a benefit claim. Multiple claims all using one mobile phone number for communications, Reed explained. These anomalies led investigators to the heart of the operation, unraveling one of the most significant benefit frauds in British history. The fraudulent claims began in October 2016, but the gang truly capitalized on a unique opportunity during the pandemic, with the Department for Work and Pensions, DWP, halting face-to-face checks to manage COVID restrictions and a surge in claims. The gang exploited the system. In just 4 months, from March to June 2020, the number of people on universal credit nearly doubled to almost 6 million. During the pandemic's 2 years, fraud on universal credit cost the government £10.2 billion. In May 2021, a coordinated raid by Metropolitan Police officers and DWP investigators targeted 3 businesses in Wood Green and Stoke Newington, including Antonia Food, as well as several residential addresses. At Deluxe Advisors, Ali's company, investigators uncovered a trove of evidence across 3 floors. They found computers open to the Universal Credit application page, filing cabinets filled with claim packs, and folders detailing benefit claims. Hundreds of low-tech mobile phones, all charging, were found alongside thousands of SIM cards. Each phone had the name and claim number of the applicant it corresponded to, with some phones linked to up to 100 fraudulent claims. "I've never seen anything like it," said Jim McIntyre, a DWP disclosure officer present at the raid. "I've dealt with organized fraud cases for years, but this was 100 times bigger." Investigators also discovered a voice-changing microphone, likely used to alter voices during calls with benefits officials, and a bucket attached to a rope, presumably used to move phones quickly between floors to facilitate posing as claimants. Examining the gang's smartphones and computers revealed spreadsheets with detailed information on thousands of claims. "They basically laid it all out on a plate for us," recalled Karen Priest, a senior investigating officer with the DWP. "There was so much there. We expected to find evidence, but not on this scale." The evidence from Deluxe Advisors was transported to Edmonton Police Station, alongside items seized from other raids. Among the luxurious haul were rows of expensive shoes from brands like Moschino, Chanel, and Alexander McQueen, especially from Nikolova's property. Also seized were a Moncler jacket, Versace watch, Ugg boots, Dyson hairdryer, Ray-Ban sunglasses, and an Audi car.
We searched their homes and their business addresses. We did find evidence of a lavish lifestyle. For example, Nikolova had £750,000 in cash, secreted in suitcases and inside beds. We also found designer watches, jewellery and clothing.
This meticulous investigation and subsequent raids exposed the extensive and audacious nature of the fraud, leading to the downfall of a sophisticated criminal network that had drained millions from the British taxpayer. The group were released under investigation. Days later, Ali, the suspected leader, fled to Plovdiv, Bulgaria's second city. An initial sense of annoyance among the investigators gave way to a determination to bring him back. "He'd been in from the beginning, a key player," said Lorraine Hallett, a senior investigator with the DWP. "It was also a matter of fairness to the others, and to get justice, he wasn't any less involved." An extradition request was initially rejected by the Bulgarian courts, but a higher court overturned that decision, and in February 2023, Ali was returned to the UK. Another gang member, Tsvetka Todorova, also tried to flee but was arrested at Stansted Airport. Nikolova also appears to have had plans to leave. She was arrested for trying to get a new Bulgarian passport on a false basis, claiming she had lost her original one. Having initially pleaded not guilty at various hearings over a 13-month period from March 2023, the three women as well as Ali and another man, Stoyan Stoyanov, admitted benefit fraud. Yunesh Ali, 34, was sentenced to 7 years and 3 months in prison. Stoyan Stoyanov, 28, was sentenced to 4 years, and Svetka Todorova, 53, was sentenced to 3 years imprisonment. Todorova was due to be released on license on Thursday because of the time she has already served in custody and under house arrest. She is liable to be deported back to Bulgaria. Patricia Paneva, 27, was sentenced to 3 years and 2 months, with the judge taking into account that she had been 19 when she was first recruited by Nikolova and had been initially paid £80 a day by the gang. Analysts working on the scam calculated that the gang had claimed for about £100 in universal credit payments over the nearly 5 years they were operating. The Crown Prosecution Service intend to pursue further legal action to recover as much as they can of the missing money, including in Bulgaria, where much of the proceeds of the UK's biggest benefit fraud are thought to have gone.